Hello everyone, welcome to Students Point. This is 23rd of June and today we have to see 10 selected questions. Each question has lot many information, so be attentive and be focused till the end. And if you wish to get PDF of all these videos, you have to join me on Telegram by writing the channel's name like this. You will recognize the channel there with this logo. Thereon you will receive all the PDFs. And if you are finding my videos useful, don't forget to like the video and share the video with your friends and loved ones. Also don't forget to subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon so that you receive all the notifications and never miss any opportunity to learn and grow every day with all the important videos from this channel. So let's begin now, but first you have to answer one question in the comment section. The question is Favipiravir, which is also called as Faviflu, an antiviral drug, was first approved in which country? These are the options. Read the options carefully and then answer it in the comment section. Let's begin now. The first question. IUCN Red List categorizes golden langur as. So golden langur has been categorized in IUCN Red List as endangered species. So here B is the right answer. IUCN Red List, which categorizes both plants and species based on their threat to extinction into 9 different categories, and out of these 9 different categories, golden langur has been categorized as endangered. And golden langur has also been categorized in Appendix 1 of CITES. So what is Appendix 1 of CITES? See, CITES is an organization and it classifies a species of both plants and animals based on their threats into 2 different appendices. These are Appendix 1 and Appendix 2. Appendix 1 classifies and includes those species of plants and animals which are endangered, and this Appendix 1 prohibits international trade in those plants and animals, and it allows trade in those plants and animals only in exceptional cases, that is for scientific and educational research purposes, and not in any other cases. While Appendix 2 of CITES includes those species of plants and animals which are not threatened at present, but they may get threatened if the trade in those plants and species continues with the same rate. So they requires some level of attempts to protect those species as well. I hope you got the difference between Appendix 1 and Appendix 2. Appendix 1 prohibits international trade in those plants and animals in general situation, and it allows trade only in exceptional situation which includes scientific and educational research purposes, while Appendix 2 includes those plants and animals which are not threatened, but there is requirement to restrict trade in those plants and animals so that it may get protected as well, and plant species as well. And this golden langur is spread over moist evergreen tropical deciduous forest as well as some riverine areas and savannas in Assam and Bhutan. So they are mainly concentrated in Assam and Bhutan, that too in moist evergreen and tropical deciduous forest. And fur of golden langur changes color according to the seasons. And Chakrasila is India's first wildlife sanctuary with golden langur as the primary species. Remember this name of wildlife sanctuary, very important, Chakrasila. Chakrasila is India's first wildlife sanctuary with golden langur as primary species. It is located in Dhubri and Kokrajhar district of Assam. And there are some regions that golden langur are at present endangered. They are endangered because of localized habitat, as they have very limited habitats. They are found only in Assam and Bhutan, and there is also rapid loss of habitat due to deforestation. Next question is about CITES. So CITES is located in Geneva, Switzerland. So here C is the right answer. You must have noticed till now that many of the institutions are headquartered and located in Geneva, Switzerland. And CITES, which stands for the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, is a multilateral treaty to protect endangered plants and animals. It is also known as Washington Convention. So remember, CITES is also known as Washington Convention, and it was drafted as a result of a resolution adopted in the year of 1963 at a meeting of members of IUCN, and it came into force on 1st of July 1975. The year is very important. CITES came into force in the year of 1975, and it was drafted as a resolution which was adopted in 1963 at a meeting of IUCN. And it aims to ensure that international trade in specimens of wild animals and plants does not threaten the survival of a species in wild. The Secretary General of CITES Secretariat at present is Yvonne Hugere. Remember the name? Yvonne Hugere is the Secretary General of CITES Secretariat. Which section of Representation of Peoples Act upholds the privilege of the voter to maintain confidentiality about her or his choice of vote? So section 94 of Representation of Peoples Act protects the privacy of a voter to not tell or disclose his or her choice of vote. So here D is the right answer. It was news because the Supreme Court has held in a judgment that secrecy of ballot is the cornerstone of free and fair elections, and even a remote or distinct possibility that a voter can be forced to disclose for whom she has voted would act as a positive constraint and check on freedom to exercise franchise, that is, right to vote. One more fact here. Remember that right to vote is not a fundamental right in the Indian Constitution. Right to vote is only a legal right in India and not a fundamental right. This may be asked in any government examination, so remember this line. And however, a voter can also voluntarily waive this privilege of non-disclosure. So it is up to a voter that whether he or she chooses to disclose to whom he or she has voted upon and voted on. But it should be his or her choice only. He or she cannot be forced to disclose his choice, and no complaints can be entertained as to why one disclosed for whom she or he voted. Next question now. Consider the following statements about extreme helium star or EHE. It is a low mass supergiant that is almost devoid of hydrogen, which is the most common chemical element of the universe. This statement is correct. See, most of the stars are composed of hydrogen, but there are certain stars which are devoid of hydrogen, and they are called as extreme helium because they are made of helium. So this statement is correct, and it is theorized that they are the product of mergers of helium core and carbon oxygen core white dwarfs. This statement is also correct, so both of these statements are correct, so C is the right answer. And the origin and evolution of these hydrogen deficient objects is still a mystery, and there are around 21 of them detected so far in our Milky Way galaxy. It was in news because a study by Indian Institute of Astrophysics, which detected the presence of singly ionized fluorine for the first time in atmosphere of hot extreme helium stars, makes a strong case that the main formation of these objects involves a merger of carbon oxygen and helium white dwarf. Because hydrogen is not available in these stars, so it is believed that they might be formed because of merger of carbon oxygen and helium white dwarfs. Next question now. Socotra or Socotra Island is located in Socotra Island is located in Arabian Sea. So here D is the right answer. Let's have a look on the map. Here it is located, Socotra Island in the Arabian Sea. This is Yemen, of which the island is part of, and this is Oman, and in this direction is India. And here we go to Red Sea, thereafter enters into Suez Canal, thereafter into Mediterranean Sea. And it is located between the Guadalquivir Channel and Arabian Sea. It is the largest of the 4 islands in Socotra archipelago. So Socotra is archipelago, and this island is the largest of 4 islands in Socotra archipelago. And Socotra was recognized as UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2008. It was in news because southern separatists have seized the control of Yemen's island of Socotra in the Arabian Sea, deposing its governor and driving out of forces of Saudi-backed government. So there is concern that this separatist may hinder the trade route, as this island and archipelago lies in the trade route. Even many ships from India passes through this route to Red Sea and passes through thereafter via Suez Canal to Mediterranean Sea. And let's have a look on some other island which were in news. The Amami Islands, which is an archipelago in Satsunan Islands, which is part of Ryukyu Islands and is in southwest of Kyushu. It is a limestone islands of coralline origin. This Amami Island was in news because Japanese Defense Ministry has reported sighting an unidentified submarine around Amami Islands in the island nations of contagious zone. And it is believed that this submarine belongs to China, and this is where it is located. This is the map of Japan, and it is located in the southward of Japan. This is South Korea and this is Japan. So this is Amami Islands or Amami Archipelago, and here it is the Amami Archipelago if we zoom it. Next question now. Consider the following statements about Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana. Under this, each MP adopts Gram Panchayat and guides its holistic progress, giving importance for social development at par with infrastructure. This statement is correct. Under this Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, the name which itself suggests that MP has to adopt a Gram Panchayat and guides that Gram Panchayat towards holistic development, and it was launched on 11th of October 2014 on the birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. See, though it was launched on 11th of October 2014, but it was launched on the birth anniversary of Jayaprakash Narayan and not on the birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. So here statement 2 is wrong. So remember the year that it was launched on 11th of October in 2014 and on the birth anniversary of Jayaprakash Narayan. So here only first statement is correct, so B is the right answer. It was in news because a study has been commissioned by Ministry of Rural Development, and it has observed that this Sansad Gram Adarsh Yojana has not made any significant impact, and that in the current format it is not going to achieve the desired purpose. And how Adarsh Gram will be identified? See, a Gram Panchayat would be the basic unit for Adarsh Gram. The Gram Panchayat will have a population of 3,000 and 5,000 in plain areas, that is in the riverine or river valleys areas, and 1,000 to 3,000 population in hilly, tribal and difficult areas. And in districts where this unit size is not available, Gram Panchayats approximating the desired population can be chosen. So wherever there is less population than 3,000 to 5,000 in plain areas and 1,000 to 3,000 in hilly, tribals and difficult areas, those areas can also be chosen as per the desired or desirable population of that area. And the MP would be free to identify a suitable Gram Panchayat for being developed as Adarsh Gram. However, MP is not allowed to select his or her own village or even his or her spouse village. So other than his or her own village or the village of his or her spouse, he may choose any other village. And under this Yojana, MPs are responsible for developing socio-economic and physical infrastructure of 3 villages by the year of 2019, and by the year of 2024 they have to develop 8 Gram Panchayats. Next question now. Consider the following statements about Civil Services Board. It provides for the state to follow center's guidelines on giving a fixed tenure of at least 2 years for cadre officers. This statement is correct, and it is headed by Chief Secretary of a state. This statement is also correct. So here both of the statements are correct, so C is the right answer. And it has senior most additional Chief Secretary or Chairman, Board of Revenue, Financial Commissioner or an officer of equivalent rank and status as a member. And if anyone recommends the transfer of an officer before the completion of his tenure, then this Civil Services Board will examine and effect it. So it protects the civil servants from getting into the hands of politicians. They did not require to appease those politicians. They may work with full integrity and need not fear about their transfers. And the final authority in this regard is the Chief Minister. And recently it was in news because Punjab government has set up a 3-member Civil Services Board for transfers and postings of Indian Administrative Services officers in the state. The next question now, very important again. Remdesivir, approved recently by DGCI, will be sold under the brand name of, so Remdesivir will be sold under the brand name of Covifor. So here B is the right answer. It was in news because Indian-based pharma company Hetero announced that it has received both manufacturing and marketing approval for this investigational antiviral drug Remdesivir from Drugs Controller General of India to treat COVID-19 patients. This Drug Controller General of India is an office under CDSCO, and it will be used for the treatment of suspected or laboratory confirmed cases of COVID-19 in adults and children who are hospitalized with severe symptoms of infectious disease. And Hetero is one of the India's leading generic pharmaceutical firms, and it is also the world's largest producer of antiretroviral drugs. Remember the name of this company, very important, Hetero. And last day we have seen that Glenmark Pharmaceuticals company launched antiviral drug called as Favipiravir. This Favipiravir will be sold under the brand name of Faviflu for the treatment of patients with mild to moderate COVID-19 symptoms. And if you have not liked the video yet, do like the video, share the video with your friends and loved ones. Also don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon so that you receive all the notification of all the latest important videos. Next question now. Which country is the largest holder of US government securities? So Japan is the largest holder of US government securities. See, though there are less returns from US government securities, but still US government securities are one of the most secure assets to invest in. That is why many government of different countries invest in US government securities. And India became the 12th largest holder of United States government securities. India at present, or by end of April 2020, held US dollar 157.4 billion US dollar government securities, while Japan holds mammoth of 1.266 trillion US dollar government securities of US. Next question and the last question now. Project Decarbonizing Transport in India will be launched by. So Project Decarbonizing Transport in India will be launched by Niti Aayog. So here B is the right answer. This project is part of DTEE, which means Decarbonizing Transport in Emerging Economies project. And apart from India, Argentina, Morocco and Azerbaijan are also participant of this DTEE project. Remember this country's name? Argentina, Morocco and Azerbaijan are also part of this DTEE project. And the project is in collaboration with International Transport Forum. This International Transport Forum is a think tank for transport policy issues. This ITF is headquartered in Paris in France, and it is an intergovernmental organization with OECD. So don't forget to like and share the video with your friends. Subscribe and press the bell icon. Wait for the upcoming video. Until then, stay at your home, stay safe, and thanks a lot.